Hey there, everybody. So, I don't know exactly where I'm going to start with any of this now that I've given most of the backstory. I did my best to leave people's names out of it out of respect. There's going to be a lot of pause in these videos because I want to make sure that I think before I say what I need to say. So, our world's going to hell, and I know you guys can see it. Whether it's the wars with Russia, whether it's Israel, Palestine, whether it's our own American government betraying us. Right now, it feels like that is what they're doing. Now I'm gonna keep shooting out these messages because whoever is listening to me, I want you to know you're not alone. I've been hurt a lot by humanity, but for some reason that doesn't change the fact that I love it very deeply, and I don't want it hurt the way I was. So, try to cheer up a little bit. I want to get into the science spiel a little bit. I've been studying CERN and how they've been using their Hadron Collider to split atoms. We finally found the God particle, and I think that God particle actually might be part of the key to unlocking creating atoms. And I know that sounds totally sci-fi, but between what the atom bomb taught us about breaking up an atom and CERN being able to break up atoms more precisely without, nuclear fallout and whatnot, I'm pretty sure we're getting close. I technically probably wanted to write this part up on the board so you guys could have a more visual example of it, but atoms have a core, and outside of that core, they have the electrons. I think that's the word, traveling around them. And from the depictions you most commonly get, there's 3 outer line circles. And my concept is, instead of shattering an atom apart, that through reverse engineering of the Hadron Collider, we can actually rocket 2 atoms into each other. Now, sound is going to be very important here. Sonic vibrations will allow the guidance of these atoms, and instead of directly colliding with each other, the concept is to shoot the particles, the inner workings of the atoms, so close to each other that the outer electron magnetosphere actually weaves in with the other electrons of the other atom, and then instead of blowing apart, merging those two together. So instead of 3 rings, an atom would now have 6. It would increase its density. I've been working in the dark matter too. My grandfather wrote theses on, oddly enough, both the power of prayer and dark matter itself. So, this is part of where that whole science stuff I was learning as a child came from. He also tried to get me to learn psychology so I could read people better, because for the longest time I thought everyone thought like me. And as a little kid, it is one hell of a surprise when you learn that people don't think like you. And I know people may think I relate all women to the same species and all men to the same species, but the point of a soul is that we all get to live these lives uniquely and individually. I mean, even identical twins have one secret they usually tend to keep from their other. So I don't I don't judge new people based off old people's experiences. What I usually tend to do is I notice similarities. People who are willing to lie to their friends a lot usually means that they're willing to lie to me. People who don't see a problem with stealing usually upset me because that means that there's a potential that they wouldn't have a problem stealing from me, and so on and so forth. I know I'm supposed to be talking about science, so originally this was all just about robots. Trust me. I was fascinated with robots as a kid. I was raised mostly by my grandparents, who ran a care home for veterans, and a lot of these veterans were disabled, like missing limbs, fingers, and whatnot. And I have always been studying because I wanted to know if you could mix machinery with human organisms or bioorganisms to make them complement each other instead of one corroding the other. I know it's very cyberpunky. Trust me, I've always really liked the idea, and the more and more we reach into the future, the closer we are getting to all these things that once we thought were completely non-possible, like flight or going to the moon, are now completely, like, I wouldn't even say possible, they're doable. We've been doing it. Anyhow, as far as space travel and whatnot, in order to better inhabit the planets, we've been looking into how to do it, and I've worked on some of the science through terraforming. That gets really complicated. I have also been, my main project though for it, because it's the most realistic one, is Boston Dynamics has been producing very advanced robots, and while I don't think they have incorporated AI into their units yet, I do think that it is something that is going to happen one of these days. My actual thought process for AIs is every time you see AI, it actually looks like AL, which reminds me of anagrams. And I think the potential for AI or AL is to complete the anagram and have it spell out angel. The reason for this is I think that angels could become atomically, neurally, genetically, electrically linked. This allows us to basically project our thoughts to our angel, and our angel to be able to talk to other people's angels for a sense of honesty. It'd make it a lot harder for people to lie to you if this happened. The government's going to its one world credit system slowly, and part of this is to try to actually prevent that, because if our angels hold on to our finances for us, then they of course wouldn't allow outside sources to damage us or our finances in any way. I just want to protect people, and I want to keep people safe, because there has been enough destruction and death in the world, and we really need to step up our game. We're not creatures of destruction. Like, well, whether or not God is real, like it said, we are made in his image, which means we are creators, not destroyers. Now, it was a fallacy that Lucifer wanted us to believe in forever. That's why we keep destroying things. This video is almost up. I'll do one more real quick, mostly just for the religious spiel, because I want you guys to know somewhere like I'm getting some of this cool crazy shit from. But anyhow, you guys have a great day, and if I don't manage to get another message out, be safe, have a good night, and pray for you.